you got goals, you want to achieve things, and if you've ever asked yourself, how can I be more effective? How can I be more efficient with my time? Then you're gonna love today's video. What up everyone, you're watching Emeroy TV, the place to move, groove, and grow. And today I'm going to be showing you guys my process in time blocking. It's going to be a little bit of camera here and at the same time a little bit of an over the shoulder tutorial as well. Just a heads up, this is a kind of a process. It may take at most an hour, depending on how detailed you really want to get into it, but it gives you direction, which allows you to work faster and allows you to be effective, which is something I talked about in a previous video that should be released by now. Watch it on the link down below so you know what I'm talking about. Because when it comes to success, it's about focusing on the right things and letting go of the things that really don't matter, that are just really distractions. And this is what this process does. I'm going to be going through like 5 processes. First part is mind dumping, second part is categorizing, third is impact and effectiveness, fourth is time blocking them, and then 5 is creating a recipe for success in execution. Before you do any of the goal setting, the mind dumping, any of the steps that I just mentioned, you want to get clear on what's the main thing that you want to get done this week. I'm very big on vision dictating the action, so one thing I want to get done throughout from the year, month, week, and then and I let that be kind of a sprint. By the way, I just want to show you this really cool friggin' pen mouse thing that I recently got on Wish. This is not a paid endorsement or anything. This is probably one of the coolest, best $6 investments I've ever gotten. I saw it on an ad originally, which was like 20 bucks. Then I saw it on Amazon for like 15 bucks, and I was like, okay, people are drop shipping this. It's gonna be cheaper on Wish, and it was, and it's pretty awesome. So let's get into this. Okay, so anyways, what you can see on the screen is a little sample of how my weeks are. I generally try to have something scheduled throughout the week, and also the in-between gaps are time for like a quick break or lunch or whatever it is, a snack. Also, say there are things that do come up that are higher in your priority list or your value list. So I value very highly on my family, and then career, and then there's my dance life. If something, for example, like my son recently had pneumonia, I had to take him to the doctor. A lot of the things that were originally scheduled had to be rescheduled to different dates. So it's having that game plan, but also understanding that things do happen, realizing what's important to you, and making sure that your actions are aligned with that. There's also the case of sometimes you want to continue working on a high priority item more so than the others. It's also checking with that internal conversation. Is it okay if I work on this a little longer and I push the others back? I mean, this is your schedule, this is your life. I'm a huge believer of having control of the things that I do, and also having an understanding there are also external elements that I don't have control over. So there's a lot of like moving parts. If you're spending a lot of brain power trying to figure out what the next move is, then you're wasting a lot of energy and time trying to figure it out. So what you want to do is, one of my favorite quotes is measure twice, cut once. You want to come up with a game plan, and this is just how I work, and how it may not work for everyone. I want to come up with a game plan, use that figuring out time on, I do it every Sunday so I can figure out, the items I need to get done, and then throughout the rest of the week, I'm just executing. Let's get right into this. So that's my example of what my weeks tend to look like. I'm going to take out the weekend, actually. You can do that. Boom. Okay, so we're going to hop onto Airtable. This is a free app. This is not a sponsored post or anything. This is what me and the team at Vision Paradox use to schedule content and share with our clients on real time. They'll see if we see that we're creating a caption, they'll see it on their end, and that way they can also give us feedback, or they can change some captions, so that way we can work in collaboration. But it's not just meant for that. I think this is like Google Docs on steroids. I mean, there's a couple things that it's missing, like in how good it is, like the formulas, but in terms of organization and team tasks and all that stuff, and scheduling content like with our clients, it's just been amazing. So not a paid endorsement, just This is one of my favorite tools ever. So step one is mind dumping. So this is just dump out everything in your mind that you think you need to do this this whole week. Send invoice to client. I'm gonna avoid using client names. Email client. In my head it makes sense. Client. Follow up with client. I'm just gonna start making stuff up now. Get 10 leads at networking event. Alright, so this is our arbitrary list. Just started really putting stuff out. So that's part one. Really aim to fill everything out as much as you can. Then empty out the bucket and then come back, see if there's any other things that you may have missed, or you just really put in the back of your mind. Get things out of your head as much as possible into something that's a little bit more tangible, that you can actually see it. Like, you may remember it, but having it there in something that's actually solid in front of you is just much more effective because you can actually see it and not just. So the next step is categorizing it. The main reason I do this is so I can start see the patterns of the things you're constantly working on. That way you can figure out, should I delegate this, should I let this go? So here in the category I have several. So mine is generally admin, social, creative, family, goal, just like more personal goals. So invoice to client, that's more admin. I know personally, based off all the stuff I do, is I do a lot of admin stuff that I'm slowly trying to let go. But thankfully, I have a team, an amazing assistant that handles a lot of the admin stuff for me. Get 10 leads. I think I'm gonna put that in social. So film location, that's creative. Edit rest of series, that's creative. Okay, so you see that a lot of the stuff that comes up is admin stuff. So thankfully, like I said, I have a team. So now you can go here into group, pick a field to group, and I go by category. And what that does, it automatically organizes everything to a nice little, nice little sections. It shows you how many tasks are in there. Oh, I'm gonna call it tasks. The next part is the impact and effort. A lot of us end up doing a lot of tasks that just really aren't important, that cause us to end up running in circles instead of moving the needle forward. There's a lot of people just trying to be busy, but if you aren't focusing on the things that matter, then you're not really being effective, which is I'm a huge proponent of. And this is how I kind of do it. I find out the most important things, how much time will it take, and then I focus on the most important thing that takes less time, and then I use that kind of as a snowball effect. So let's go right into this. So send invoice to client 10, email client, that's going to be like a 8. Follow up with client. Oh, one thing, do not score any of these a 7. 7's kind of like a safe number, almost like a C in the grading system. It's not really good, it's not exactly terrible either. So either commit to an 8 or a 6, and if you think about it, it makes you truthful, it keeps you honest. It's either distinctly good or distinctly bad. So either no 7s here, people. So follow up with client. A lot of client stuff I put in like a pretty decently high priority. Put this as a 6. Hire new VA 8. See, so a lot of this stuff is made up. So, but anyways, I'm just gonna say 10. As you see, when I'm working with my client stuff, a lot of it I score high as an 8, but more personal stuff, for some reason I prioritize it to get a lot lower than a 7. So there's something to kind of like reflect on there. So now effort, I put that in terms of time. So then I triple it. So sometimes we think it's 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or if you think it's going to take 15 minutes, triple that, 45 minutes, or 60 minutes, 180 minutes, because it just makes sense. There's this assumption that things won't take as long as we think as they do, but it's important to take into account something we call phantom time. So that's like some minor distractions, getting a text, a call, you getting hungry, using the bathroom. So it just makes sense to add that little extra buffer time in there. Quickly do this. So send invoice to client. I think that takes 5 minutes. So 15 minutes. Email client, 15 minutes. Follow up with client. Customer feedback survey, I'm gonna put that as 15 minutes. Hire new VA, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Oh, actually, this is more like interviews. So I'm gonna put at least an hour. So this is an event. So I'm gonna put the length of the event. It's 180 minutes. Check out Facebook ads funnel. I think that would take about 60 minutes. I'm gonna make that edit rest of series. So I put that in terms of length of how long it'll take to edit. So I'm gonna put that at least 120 minutes. Edit tutorials, 120 minutes. Alright, so now that we have put together the impact and effort, it's now time to sort it out, so that way you see the important items. So sort, okay, I'm gonna X these out. So I add a sort, I sort by impact first, and I go from 9 to 1, the highest number, and you see that it automatically shifts that. Then add another sort by effort, do that 1 to 9, and organizes that from the lowest amount of time to the most based on the impact. So you can see here this is an impact of 10 but only 15 minutes, and over here impact of 8 or impact of 6, 15 minutes, or impact of 8, 120 minutes. So you start seeing, okay, here's the most important items that I need to do that take less time, and then you use that momentum then you use that momentum for the next item and the next item. So and then this is also taking into consideration of the things you really want to do, and this is a bonus if you have a team, because a lot of this admin stuff I really don't want to do. So thankfully I have an amazing assistant that I can just delegate this to, and then she handles that. What I really want to do is more of the creative end and the social end. This social as in this context of this category, which is more talking to clients, setting up meetings, going to networking events. That's the stuff I want to do. Again, realizing I'm doing a lot of this, maybe I can let someone else do it, so that way I can focus on the things that I really want to do for myself, for my business. So really creating that distinction for yourself. And if you're doing this solo, then you're just gonna have to bite the bullet that these are just things that you need to get done. Focus on the high priority items, and then focus the rest of the week on things that are less important. So now let's get right into time blocking. Alright, so the first thing I want to do when I'm doing my time blocking is I kind of do this from Monday to Friday or even Sunday. I do the sprint. What's my sprint action this week? And let's just say, for example, just for example's sake, get 5 meetings for social media clients. See, that's the main thing. And I like to color that gold, or gold or red. Actually, I'm gonna do it red. Okay, that way it just really pops out even more. Okay, then from there I start looking at my tasks. Which ones are the most relatable to that one goal, and then I prioritize that. So the closest one would be get 10 leads for at a networking event. So that's not exactly something I can exactly easily mark off. It's just more like an effort thing. Get people, get contacts. Boom. I would actually add that as part of the recipe, so to speak, which is, go to a networking event. What's going to make this networking event a little bit more successful? What sets this task up for success? Edit it, recipe for success, or what would make me feel good out of it. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean like I have to get it, but what would set me up for success. So actually, since we're in the middle of this, what's the recipe of success? What would make it a successful event? So if I had, let's say I make sure I got my business cards on point. That I don't forget my business cards. Business cards, nail elevator pitch, go with Gabby and Martin, which is a couple friends of mine, Gabby being my business partner. Get 10 leads. So that's what that get 10 contacts, so to speak, because you can't exactly get leads like that, but it's I'm gonna stop myself before I get into a little tangent, but that's what a recipe of success, or a recipe, is. When you have the specific part set, what's the recipe that's going to set you up for success? Because like how chefs, I'm not a cook, but my baby mama is a cook. She's a chef, so before doing anything, before executing, she has to know the recipe, what ingredients are needed, so that way she can execute this properly. Again, measure twice, cut once. So this is just like the general idea of what I think will make it successful for me. So I'll save that. Okay, now let's start adding the other stuff. Send invoice to client. So I'm gonna start adding in the client stuff. This would fall under more something like for my team check-in. So that's already scheduled. So doing this gives me perspective that these aren't exactly items I need to really do, but these are items I can delegate. So then it gives me more free headspace, because sometimes when we think we have to do something, we have like, oh, I gotta dedicate this time to it, but when in reality it just makes sense to batch similar items together. Based off of this, it looked like it was going to be separate things, but these are just items that I could just add on the team check-in. Hire new VA, hire new that. Let's see. Let's focus on the client stuff that I want to do. Okay, I don't have a whole list here, but I think we've knocked those out. So next is the non-priority items. So let's go check Facebook ads funnel. Okay, check Facebook ads funnel. What's the time I put on that? 2 hours, right? Yeah, 2 hours. Check FB ads funnel. Okay, and then I continue working backwards from there. Say the sprint is the one item I want to get done that's related to the big goal. What's the one really big thing I want to get done today that helps the sprint, that helps, you know, everything. Okay, so I did 2 hours, 11:30, boom. Cool, then I'm watching Jordan the rest of the time there. See if I can squeeze any small stuff in there. Film my tutorials, no, not really. So edit tutorials, that's already a constant. And this is like my primary task. I always paint it gold. Anything related for me, purple is anything related to vision paradox. Anything with like the light red salmon color here is more personal. This is workout, that's more health. Let's see, let's keep going. Just complete this. Send customers feedback survey. I think that's something we can do on the team check-in as well. Set up film location, so I can just do that following day. Set call and schedule film location. Time it takes for that is 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna keep it to the hour, and then film rest of the series. Say for example, I'm doing that 2 hours. So considering that I only have like 11 items on here, it looks a little different, but if I had more items that were related to the sprint goals, I would be prioritizing those and coloring those gold. So as you let me like backtrack a couple weeks. Okay, so every week you can see here there were always one priority item that I wanted to get done. So and I always do it after, whether it's after editing of vlogs or whatever else, because personally I want to spend working on a personal project for me that kind of honors the things I want to build up prior to working on something for someone else. Yes, they're clients and it's important to work for them, but the most important thing is that you honor yourself and what you're passionate about or what you care about. I kind of like doing that first because it makes me feel good, and then it sets me up for the rest of the day. So that's it. That's how I time block, do time management, everything in a nutshell. It's quite a process, I know, but it really does give you direction, gives you a lot of clarity, it gives you a lot of though it feels like you're limiting yourself because you're setting this time, but at the same time limitations give us freedom, because that limitation allows us and gives us permission to focus on the task at hand. Because a lot of the times when we're supposed to be doing something, you know, say I'm supposed to be editing a video, I'm checking Facebook or getting phone calls or answering emails, and it just is detrimental to being productive. So just a quick recap before you mind dump: make sure you are clear on the one thing you want to achieve that week that's in accordance to the bigger picture you want to achieve. Next thing is mind dump. Then you categorize it, see the common things that you are constantly working on, and figure out if that's something you really want to continue doing, or see if you can delegate it if you have that team, so that way you can focus on the categories that you really like doing. And number 3, impact and effort. Figure out the ones that are going to be the most impactful in your business and focus on the ones that don't require a whole lot of time. That way you get a really good snowball effect going. The next thing is time block. Make sure whenever you time block, you already have the weekly things blocked out. That way you're not double booking or overextending yourself. All the other fun stuff that happens when we aren't aware of our schedule. So, and next is create recipes for success. So whenever you guys are done time blocking, go to that specific event and write out that recipe of what's gonna set you up for success, or what's gonna make you feel successful throughout that period of time. So that's it, how to effectively time block so you can be productive, really manage your time a lot better. And if you guys really like this video, make sure you hit like, subscribe, hit the bell button, so that way you guys are constantly getting videos like this that really help give you the insight in creating those successes that you want. I believe that everyone has different types of successes or goals that they want to achieve, but I think the tools, the principles are all the same. So if you guys like this, make sure you subscribe. Every Friday I share with you guys content on how to grow your mindset for success. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.